Hi, YouTube. I hope you're all doing good. I'm doing okay. Um, I was watching Lionel Nation this morning, and he was talking about, I think it's from yesterday, but he was talking about the legalization of prostitution and whether it should be or not. I think it should be decriminalized except for the pimps. I think that's pretty much how he feels too, and whether he does or not, that's how I feel. I think it should be still not allowed in public like it is out on the streets, but I think the men or women that take other women or men and put them out and make money off of those people, like using them in a trafficking type situation, that should be criminal. People making money off of other people's bodies. So that part I totally agree with him on that. He was talking about now that marijuana is legal in his state, he smells it all over the place, like skunk weed, and that it's nauseous and that. I agree. The new strain of like weed is so potent and it does smell bad. It makes me nauseous too. But I say if you don't like it when you go out in public because it's legal, just like a lot of other things. I mean, they ban smoking, but cigarettes in places. But just the smell of alcohol sometimes, and I'm allergic to it, will make me extremely sick. Then there's things in perfumes and different what do you call them, like aftershaves or whatever that these people spray on. It's called Isabella something. It's an ingredient that they use to put in different fragrances and stuff. I am extremely allergic to that shit. If I smell something like that and I'm out somewhere, I will get nauseous. I will get a fever. I will probably throw up if somebody's like took a bath in their shit because they didn't want to take a bath, so they decided to put some extra perfume on. So a dog on the other side of the world could smell them and come running to mate with them. That's what that makes me feel like. So my reaction to the stinky weed out in public, put your mask back on. You live in a city. If I go in the city and around people, I have to expect that I am going to encounter something that I might not like or that actually physically makes me ill. But what are you going to do? Are you going to ban perfumes too? Really? Personally, I like the kind of smoke that smells. I don't know if you know what patchouli oil smells like, but yeah, I it's more floral type, I guess, of odor than it is the skunky, musty. Ugh, it is rude. It really is. I mean, used to be that there was some strains of like sativa that were kind of a limey tasting stuff, and that was the beginning of the skunk weeds way back when. And that was some really flavorful stuff. It still wasn't my favorite, but I mean it was pretty good. But it's not like this stuff now. People take a hit of weed and they're like, it knocks them out. I've seen people smoke a couple hits and not even be able to move. That's ridiculous. But I'm pretty sure that it is intentional that these people have legalized such a potent strain that's that probably is addicting Whereas something with lesser, if it's like 3% THC versus 17%, that's a vast difference, that type of. So, there's my thoughts on a couple things that he was talking about. Because, like, once again, even the smell of alcohol sometimes will make me want to regurgitate. So, even if I, if, even if I'm drinking it, if I'm having a drink, I have to make sure like I've probably ate something or I have to eat something with it because I might get violently ill. I'm allergic to it, even the smell of it. So, yeah. So there's my thoughts on that. If you listen to me, that's how I feel. And I still am against legalizing prostitution, but I should say um more like decriminalizing it for the women and the men that are being used by other people. Now, if they're habitual offenders and they're out, like say if you're around, like if it were like a Sheraton Ritz hotel or something, which maybe isn't the fanciest of all, but like somewhere a little higher end, you probably wouldn't want a bunch of hookers hanging around there, and they might be ladies of the night or call girls that work on their own too. Um, I've known a few of them, but and yeah, it to me shouldn't be legalized. But that's everybody's opinion about whatever. You know, so yeah, whatever. That's my thoughts on that. So. Yeah, Lionel's like, if you want to smoke dope, calls it dope. To me, dope is a hard drug, but nowadays some of this probably would be considered pretty dopey. He says, go out in the field and smoke it. He's like, even like if he had to pick over like cigarettes or smelling that like in an apartment, he'd probably rather be around cigarette smoke, and he doesn't like that either. It's like, well, you know, I don't know why anybody should have to go out in a field and smoke anything if they live in an apartment. Then wouldn't you have like a auxiliary fan like in your bathroom and above um your your stove and that type of stuff? Now, if it were to come to smelling somebody else's feces or smelling the pot, I'd rather smell the pot, to be quite frank. So, I mean, if you can get rid of the smell of feces in a apartment, then you should be able to get rid of the smell of that smoke. He says because it's in people's clothes and everything. Yeah, I imagine that'd be a bummer if you were like an attorney, had to go in a courthouse and your suit was smelling like you just come out of some brothel or something with people drinking and smoking and all that, you know, all the degenerative substances that people consume. I suppose you wouldn't want to like if you had to be in the public eye defending somebody or prosecuting, whatever. I don't imagine you would want to smell like marijuana when you go into the courtroom. I could see that that might be an issue, but you wouldn't want to go in there smelling like alcohol or cigarettes for that matter, I wouldn't think. So, I don't know. Just thinking out loud. So, then I ran across a friend telling me that, well, we need to pray for Israel. Said, yeah, they're going to need all the prayers they can get, especially the fake Khazarian Jews. That's a fact. The people that call you cattle, the people that want to do whatever they want to do to children with their Noahide laws. Oh, yeah, they need some prayers, but they don't need the taxpayers' money. You want to pray for them, pray for them. But my prayers for them are very slim, if any. The atrocities don't leave me room to get on my knees for them children hurting people. And I'm not going to justify not liking somebody that does those type of things. No, I won't. I'm standing with how I feel, and I'm standing with hating what they do and the people themselves that do hurt babies. Yeah, I fucking hate you. And I'm not going to change my mind. So there you go. Ever. That's never going to happen. So, because the people that say they are Jews and they're not, they come from they're Slavic in nature, like Romanian, Czechoslovakian, um, Khazarian, Russian, before pre-Russia even moved into that area and killed their way across Europe to take that area over. And the covenant that was made with the people that of the Bible, the Jews, the true Jews, don't even live there. So there's that. Yeah. Don't believe me this much. Go look it up. It's called history. And if I get my way, them bastards will be history. Yeah. No. I'm never, ever, ever, ever gonna forgive the shit they've done like that. Not even close. And they are not the people spoken about in the scriptures. So just so you recognize that that's who I'm talking about when I have a ill feeling for anybody in that part of the country, it's because they deserve what I'm feeling. And this is hundreds of years in the making that they've been doing. Yeah, I mean, I just didn't wake up some one day and say, well, this is a type of person that I'm gonna hate. You know, it's not like that at all, and I don't feel like that at all. You have to do something pretty atrocious before I'm gonna say that to you. You know, so, and even then I might not. But if you're hurting children, all bets are off, and I want to chop off your head. So it's the way it is. Or anybody. It doesn't even have to be a child. I'm just using that as an example. If I saw anybody getting hurt, I've stepped in against monsters and battled for people that couldn't and or wouldn't, because I'm not going to stand around and watch other people get hurt and not say or do anything about it. So there's that. So, and I'm not going to be one of these people. If you think I'm wrong, let me know how. I, on this, don't care about your opinion and will never change my mind because I know too much about the truth in this and I'm not going to shut up. That's how that is. And if people want to send their money over to those people, you go right ahead. But leave the rest of us that they call goyim and cattle and want to actually annihilate your children, you go ahead and support those people. I won't. And they're hooked up with the Vatican and the Jesuits. That's who these people are with the big banks and the rest of their crap. You're sending money to people that own the banks of the world. Does that make you feel stupid? It would if I didn't know better. If I just learned that, I would feel like a little bit stupid about it. So yeah. So I'm going to be really busy this coming week. I'm going to start scrubbing ceilings and walls and moving stuff and all that. So it's going to be a major project because my one arm is still injured, and I probably could get some help, but as long as I can do it, I'll do it, you know. But like I say, maybe I like for old people, they got people that'll come in and clean for you. Maybe like in the fall with my windows, like the outside, not having to get on a ladder and that type of thing. I can do the inside ones just fine, you know. It's the outside ones that would be more difficult that I'm not going to do. I'm not getting on no more ladders, I don't think. I did last year, or the year before it was, help put the roof on the kitty house. Um, but that wasn't super high, but it's high enough when you're like, when your feet are like 10 feet off the ground. If you fall, it's going to hurt, you know. I was drywalling some one time. I don't know if it was this one house with a vaulted ceiling. It might have been 23 or 27 feet tall. We did a lot of them, and we set up our scaffolding, and it was getting towards the end of the day, and I had a 5-gallon bucket where I put my tool belt in there and with my drywall hammer and keyhole cutter or whatever, what my nails and stuff that I needed, you know, and hoist them up there and go up there and work. And it was getting, and we had like 3 6-inch planks that would make the total of 18 inches wide and like 12 feet, you know. And I'm getting real tired, and I'm just like out of it kind of with tiredness. And I was hammering. I stopped and I went to kind of step backwards, and my foot just hit my bucket, and I almost went down just out of being just pure tired, you know. So one step when you're like way up there, you know, that was scary. It really was. Yeah. It's good money, but I don't know that it was worth all that. So, yeah, actually, probably wasn't worth all that, but a lot of the lifting that I did do in my life probably kept me strong enough now where I can battle shit that happens to me, let alone maybe somebody that were to come in my life and try and do anything. Because, oh, I'm hated. I got people that hate my guts really bad because I exposed their dirty deeds, you know. So, yeah, I'm not thought too highly of by those people. But, you know, not that I care. It's just the fact I know if they could get away with killing me because I've had a gun in my mouth and a assault rifle pointed at me, and I prayed my way out of it. But it's not that these people didn't want me dead, because they did, and they still do. I know it. So, I mean, I'm not afraid. It's just that I'm not stupid enough to be caught off guard if somebody like that were around other people that I know. I would never let my guard down, is what I'm saying, because I know better, you know. It's the type of person that if you think that they might do something to you, they will just because you thought it, you know, or said something, you know. So, yeah, anyway. Don't does anybody here get sick from fake perfumes and stuff like that? Or how about if you buy something like a piece of clothing? Did you know that black dye in clothing will give you, like, if you have black socks, it'll give you foot fungus that you should really, if you do have them, wash them really good, like a couple times even or more before you even put them on your feet. Anything like a t-shirt or I wash everything when I get it because not just I'm allergic to most textiles, most materials except for cotton or hemp or whatever. But if it's like polyethylene or something like that or a nylon mix, um, it's highly allergenic. They say it's hyperallergenic, but it isn't. It's a petroleum product, and I'm allergic to them. So yeah, just about everything is made out of this stuff. So yeah, I don't know. I didn't listen to a lot of videos or anything. Doug had shared one with me that I haven't watched yet entirely on Facebook. Um, he wrote, "Please watch and share," but it's about the deep state is running out of options. Um, it's 40 minutes. It's Donald Trump. Um, and he's talking about everything that's going on and whatever, you know. You know what Trump has done to me, not to me personally, I mean to me as far as I'm concerned, isn't as humiliating as to what the Clintons did in our country. When you have a 21-year-old intern, Monica Lewinsky, that he lied and said he did not have sex with that woman, and they proved that he had not only several times, but literally assaulted her with a cigar under his desk. And all this came out in front of the country, the children, everybody heard about it. And then we got the snatch that is his wife saying it takes a village to raise a child. Yeah, well, you stay in your village and stay the fuck out of mine, is how that made me feel. Slimy, standing behind a piece of shit like that and still being a wife, and you call yourself a first lady of what? A first lady of total trash? Yeah, I got a trash mouth when I think about that shit. And that's the type of person that's going to tell me that you're going to tell my child the way to think, that it takes a village, and now you're telling children, their party is telling children that they can be any gender they want to be, that they aren't who they were born. You people are fucked up in your heads. That's how I feel about that. So there you go. And that's when my animosity for these people started, and that's why it started, because she would stand behind a piece of shit like that and not come forward and say, "Look, my husband is scum, and I'm heading this way, and we're still going to be married because we got to keep our money together, but I don't want personally anything to do with him because he's scum of the earth." And that's what I would have done as a first lady. And I still would have went about my duties, but I would have made it perfectly clear to the women and the children on this planet that I didn't support such a piece of shit. And that's the way that is. Who, no matter who, and you can say, well, the whole world was watching it anyway, so not why not be a upstanding woman and do the right thing for the women and the children? Well, she did not do that. There you go. And plus the other things that I believe that she is involved in, human trafficking and different things through a outfit in London where they were um, transporting not only just clothing but other goods that her and her daughter have a hand in this company that were involved with the type of people that were connected to Pizzagate and that type of stuff. So, and hopefully the truth will all come out on that. But even without that, she was way before that. And it doesn't take a village, not like she's saying, you know. As far as if you see another woman's baby going to run out in the street and her purse is falling and she's dropping her groceries and the kid gets loose, yeah, takes a village. Go grab that baby. No doubt. Not a doubt in my mind. But as far as psychologically takes a village of what you want to teach other people's children, stay the hell out of my personal life and what I teach my children. So there's that too. And that was for personally somebody that admires, or if you do admire them, that was for you. Because this is no longer the Republic and we the people, and the Democrats are not what they used to be. So, and you can put like neoliberal or what you want to call like a Republican that wants to smoke pot, and you can put names on them. What about the Democrat that wants to drink themselves silly and have sex with babies, and which is very common with these new liberal no hide law ways? And I don't consider myself. I'm a member of the Independent Party. Actually, I'm a registered member, but it wouldn't matter if I went last time I went 10 years without smoking. Before that, it was like 6, 8 years when my kids were small. Um, you know, different times in my life, I went years at a time, decade. So whether I smoke or not really has no bearing on the title I would call myself in any political sense. I guess I'm nothing. I shared a song with Doug, several of them last night, but he was figuring out some bills and he said something about zero, and I go, Saved by Zero by The Fix with two X's, Fixx. I sent around the lyrics for that. So next time he's doing his bills, he can laugh. So maybe I'll win Saved by Zero, you know? Actually, every song I shared last night has an esoteric meaning. Every single one of them. So, yeah, of some sort, one way or another. The only one I didn't play that I was thinking about was Steely Dan's Deacon Blues, because as far as being like underneath the highest priest, which would be Christ himself, I would be considered more of a deacon, and I do have the blues. So, yeah, I got the blues today. Yeah. That was my CB handle, Minnesota Blue Gal. If anybody's old enough to ever have use CBs. Maybe you heard me. I was talking to people, which was really cool when I was out in Montana. I was high enough altitude to talk to people in Washington, California, um, Oregon, uh, Canada. It was pretty cool. I loved it. It was pretty neat. Our ranch, the ranch I was working on, was so big we had to have CBs to communicate because we didn't have cell phones back in those days. So, but I did grow up with a ham radio, and I'm not a licensed operator, but I do know how to operate a ham radio. And actually, between Doug and I, we could probably concoct one with just parts that we have laying around here if things were ever extremely horrible, you know, build one. You know, it doesn't take a whole lot. So you might want to look into that. They're fun too. Well, I'm going to leave it at that for now. I just want to make it perfectly clear why I have such animosity for the Clintons, who are the dark cabal related to the Khazarian Jews that are the big banks and hate everybody on the planet. So I guess why wouldn't I have animosity for somebody like that? Well, I surely don't have a love of them, and I'm never going to want to. So those are the type of people that can truly go to hell and suffer for the rest of their lives because that's what they deserve. So if they're not in hell already, which I highly doubt from the size of their asses and their big old laughs. So I'll just leave it there before I get out of control with that one. So, well, and I meant that too. Um, if you haven't, if you have the energy to exercise, if you haven't been working yourself halfway to death, and hopefully, like me, you're trying to eat right and do the right things in life, I wish you all the luck in the world. And I'm not body shaming anybody. I'm putting them down because that's what I felt like saying, and that's what they deserved. And I wouldn't take it back for a million years. So that's how I feel. Because it's true. Anyway, escargot, anybody? How about some caviar?